Guys, Chris at Hard Knocks. It feels like it's been ages since I did a video, but today we're not going to bore you with cars. We're going to talk about pricing. This is something I've briefly touched on with people before, and I quite often get a lot of people saying, what do you charge for this? What do you charge for that? The way that we price stuff is time plus materials and then a percentage for consumables. Most jobs that we do in fabrication have a percentage of consumables. So that might be cutting discs, sanding discs, it might be the drum sanders that we use, it might be belt file belts, gas, filler rod, tungstens, etc., etc. The really easy way that I've worked out to price stuff now, and you have to be kind of brutal with it, is we don't quote for big stuff. Exhausts I can quote for because I've done a lot of them. Small stuff I can quote for if I'm, pretty sure on what I've got to do. But when it comes to big cars, it's time plus materials. And you have to, your customers have to trust you, and you have to be able to get your customers to trust you enough that you will not overcharge and that you won't charge or take the piss with your consumables bill. So we are now £70 an hour plus VAT. That's it. That is what we charge every hour. There's a minimum 1 hour charge. I had a customer actually question me on why we had a 1 hour charge for a job that took me 10 minutes. I'm like, right, for your small job, I don't know, let's say welding a wheel, £70 plus VAT. That's it. We don't do it any cheaper. There's no freebies, there's no mates rates. It's 70 quid plus VAT. Because A, I have to set up everything. So I need to get my grinder ready, I need to get my die grinder ready with the correct carbide burr in it, I then need to set the welder up, then I need to clean it, then I need to get my filler rods out and clean them, then I need to set my tungsten up, etc, etc. And even if the job only takes me 10 minutes to do, I've still had to put 20 or 30 minutes of prep time to be able to do that job in 10 minutes. Then there's also the fact that I've spent however many years learning how to do it in 10 minutes. If you don't have a minimum charge, you're going to find yourself doing 20 quid jobs all day long, and they might seem great because you've got loads of cash in your pocket, but then when you get to the end of the year and you go, I ain't got any fucking money. That's why, because you've been doing 20 quid jobs all day and costing yourself probably 10 quid of that in consumables. So that's why we have a 1 hour minimum charge. It doesn't matter whether we're welding a wheel or whether we're doing an exhaust or whatever. It's 1 hour minimum charge. Every single job that comes through this door is a minimum of £70 plus VAT plus materials. The easy way to keep track of stuff, especially if you have staff, and obviously recently, so have I, got some good guys now, we have worksheets, little A4 sheet on a clipboard, and every hour that they spend on a car, they write it down. That way, when the customer comes to pick it up, they go, how much is the bill? And I go, 900 quid plus VAT plus materials. Okay, how did you get to that figure? There's my hours. This is how many hours we have spent on this car for you. With that, you've also got to make sure that you count everybody's hours. If you do a job on your own and it takes you 6 hours, or you have two of you and it takes you 3 hours, it's still 6 hours. It's taken me a long time to learn that. I was terrible for it. So pay attention to how many of your people are working on this, on a job or anything, and this applies to any fucking job anywhere in the world. Pay attention to your hours and always make sure you charge for it. You don't go into Sainsbury's, buy 2 bags of shopping and get 1 bag for free, do you? No. So if you do 6 hours of work on a car, you charge 6 hours. And whether that's 6 of you doing an hour each or 1 of you doing 6 hours, make sure you charge for those hours. The materials bill is a materials bill. The way that we normally work it is cost price plus 20%. That's our markup. And people go, well, why are you making money out of me on parts? Because I've spent 15 or so years dealing with my suppliers and getting friendly with them and building relationships to get those prices. I don't owe you those prices at all. So if I charge you £100 and the parts cost me £75, I don't owe it you for £75. And if you're charging your customers the price that you pay, stop it. Just don't do it. Even from a point of view of, if let's say it's a supplier that you've not known very long and you make a tenner to your customer, how long does it take you to sit down, work out which bits you need? I need this much sheet, I need this much tube, I need this many bolts, then phone them, then order it, and then it turns up. That takes sometimes 20 minutes. Some days with the big shit that we do, I can spend days working out what parts I need, what works, where to get it from, what the shipping is. Charge for it. You have to. you wouldn't expect, solicitors are a prime example, they charge you for every single hour that they work for you. And this applies to, again, pretty much any industry. If you go and get your car serviced and you have an oil and filter done, they might pay 15 quid for the oil and filter. They're going to charge you £45 because that's business. You can't give your prices to your customers because you're going to resent them. At the end of the year or the end of the week or whatever, you're going to go, hold on a minute, I haven't made any money. So just make sure you put a bit on. Obviously, don't take the piss. If you pay 50 quid for a part, don't charge them 500 quid because you're going to get called a cunt pretty fucking sharpish. There's a lot of people out there that do that. You know, we supply these amazing brakes and they're £4,000 and we pay 500 quid for them. Sooner or later, you're going to get caught out doing that. Don't do it. The consumable side of it, especially in fabrication, I do it on a percentage. So my percentage is 7.5%. So I take my total labour hours, let's say it's 100 quid, and it's 50 quid in materials. I then do 7% of that. That is the consumables bill. And my customers are in a position where they can trust me enough that I'm not going to overcharge them. I will charge them fairly and I will do exactly what they've asked for. That's not to say that I haven't got ex-customers that I've pissed off or they've pissed me off and I've gone, fuck you, I don't want to do your car anymore, because that happens. Try and stick to those three things: time, materials, consumables. Because you wouldn't believe, like gas, welding gas is a big one for me. We get through 6, maybe 7 bottles a month at the minute. That's just pure shield argon for TIG. And then we do 2, maybe 3 of Argon Shield Light, which is MIG gas. They're about 30 quid a bottle. So you've got like 400 quid in gas. Well, someone's got to pay for it. Make sure you charge for it and account for it as well. When you're doing your paperwork at the end of every day or end of every week or month or however you want to do it, make sure you pay attention to it. Because you can very quickly find yourself in a position where you're fucking broke, but everybody's got their cars done. And not being funny, none of us get into business to be broke. That's not why you do it. Our hourly rate has come from a few different variables. So I've got rent, wages, electric, then there's stuff like phone bills, internet access, all of this other shit, rates. The list is fucking endless. Obviously, it's quite a lot for us because of what we do, but for some people it might only be a phone bill or fuel bill or whichever. Your labour hours need to cover that. So the quick way to work out how much you should charge per hour is look at your daily outgoings. What does it cost you to come into work? Even if you don't do any work, what does it cost you? Ours is about 450 quid a day. Just to open the doors, turn the lights on, and stand around doing nothing. That's how I figure out our hourly rate. Now, obviously, as of a few days ago, the price of everything went up. So make sure you look at that, pay attention to it, and try not to shoot yourself in the foot. I've done it. I've got to the end of the year and gone, I haven't made any money this year. What the fuck have I done? I've been lucky enough to survive that. Make sure you don't fall in that trap, because it's very easy to do, because you get a bit of cash come through the door and you think, yeah, I'm doing really well, when you're not. Focus on making sure you don't overcharge, make sure you charge correctly. And like I say, work that out, your daily rate, what it costs you to be here, then work out your hourly rate per guy, then work out your materials. If you do that, it might take you a while to get used to it, and you'll forget shit. Oh, fuck, I forgot to charge for tungstens, or forgot to charge for however, if you use shitloads of filler rods. Just pay attention to it. Don't be blasé and buried in doing the job that you forget about making the money, because the whole idea of doing the job is so that you can get paid. Hopefully this all makes sense. Again, if you've got any questions, drop a comment down below, like, subscribe, you know the drill. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys soon.